Hello and welcome to my channel Art Book Nook. My name is Kay and I review art and craft books. Today I'm going to review Art of the Limited Palette by Hazel Soan. Hazel Soan is a highly respected British watercolour artist. Within a year of graduating from art college in 1976, she was earning a living from her paintings, and her first exhibition in London sold out completely. Hazel Soan has written an incredible number of books, 25 so far, mostly about watercolour. They are published by Batsford and also HarperCollins, and she contributes regular articles to magazines such as The Artist and Leisure Painter. She has also published no less than 18 DVDs and appeared on 2 UK television programmes called A Splash of Colour and Watercolour Challenge. So she's a very experienced watercolourist and teacher. The book is divided into two main sections: Understanding the Limited Palette and the Limited Palette in Practice. So let's take a look, shall we? You may have heard about painting with a limited palette, but never really fully understood what this means in practice. This book will provide you with numerous examples and explain the concept in detail. Only 3 colours have been used: Indian yellow, alizarin crimson and ultramarine blue, to paint Wall Street, the painting on the right hand side. This brings us to part 1 of the book, which is Understanding the Limited Palette. So what is a limited palette? A limited palette is the means by which a painter uses the least number of colours possible to achieve as wide a range of colours in a painting. This book focuses on using just 2, 3 or 4 colours in a painting, and you'll be amazed at the scope and range of colours that can be created with such a small number of pure pigments. So how does the limited palette work? It enhances the colour of a painting by guaranteeing harmony, but also reduces the risk of mixing mud. Just look how bright and varied all the colours are in this painting of 2 elephants. With just 3 colours, Prussian blue, aureolin, alizarin crimson, all these amazing colours have been produced. Hazel recommends learning to understand how your colours behave by creating a colour wheel. In this example, Hazel has used both a warm and a cool version of the 3 primaries. I've not seen a colour wheel painted like this before, and it actually makes a lot of sense. Before Hazel begins a painting, she selects the red, blue and yellow which she thinks will work best to achieve the mood she's trying to create in the painting. Spending time painting lots of different colour wheels with different red, blue and yellow pigments and combinations of them will give you a handy library that you can refer to over and over again. The greater the range of tone a hue can achieve, the darker possible shades can be created in mixing. In the elephant painting on the left-hand page, alizarin crimson has been used. In the painting on the right, quinacridone red has been used to create soft mauves and oranges. The depth of tone that can be achieved is related to the level of transparency of the pigments. Watercolour paint can either be transparent, semi-transparent, semi-opaque or opaque. A transparent colour will allow light to pass through it and in general can reach deeper tones than opaque colours. Look at these 2 paintings side by side. The painting on the left has used 3 transparent colours: Indian yellow, alizarin crimson, ultramarine blue, and on the right 3 opaque colours: cadmium yellow, cadmium red and cerulean. If you look closely, you'll see that the painting on the left has achieved a darker black, a deeper black, than the painting on the right. The third property of paint pigment to consider is the nature of staining. How easy will it be to lift paint out if you need to do so, and this might determine your choice of colour. Here is a demonstration painting called Lit by Shared Memories, where Hazel has used the lifting out technique, and she's listed the 3 colours that she selected for this painting: aureolin, French ultramarine and transparent sienna. A very important property of each colour is its temperature bias, as this affects mixing and colour interaction. For example, A yellow which is close to orange is warm, as it's on its way towards the colour red and moving away from blue, whilst the same yellow next to green is cool because it's on its way towards blue and moving away from red. In this demonstration, Temperature Bias Mixing Greens, Hazel does an excellent job of illustrating how the choice of the colour yellow affects the brightness of the green. Here Hazel explains how to use colour temperature to your advantage. For example, red is a colour that comes forward on the picture plane. The red shirt of the boy really stands out, and in the painting on the right, by adjusting the mix of Prussian blue or cadmium red, you can obtain either a cool or warm sky. Hazel now provides some comprehensive advice about combining the primary colours. Which red, blue and yellow should we choose? Hazel states you can never spend too much time learning how to mix colours. She encourages you to reproduce this colour grid, which she has produced using the 6 colours that she uses most often, the 3 warm colours and the 3 cool colours. These 2 mini paintings illustrate colour matching. The colour of the dunes in both paintings are made from exactly the same colour mix, Indian yellow and ruby red. Notice how the colour temperature of the sky causes the orange of the dunes to look slightly different colour. Here we have examples of blue and yellow combinations to make green. On the left hand page we have an example of a cool blue, Prussian blue, and a cool yellow, aureolin. The cooler the blue and the cooler the yellow, the brighter the green. I learnt something here because I would have expected the opposite. On the right hand side we have an example of a cool blue, Prussian blue again, and Indian yellow, which is a warm yellow. The right hand page illustrates the different colour greens you can achieve with these 2 colours by adjusting the mix. Over the next few pages we have examples of different colour combinations to obtain the remaining secondary colours of orange and violet. So Hazel has just explained colour mixing with the primaries. We're now going to look at 2 colour mixes, using colours that are opposite on the colour wheel, and this will naturally include 1 primary and 1 secondary colour. Of course the secondary colour is made up of the other 2 primaries. Now Hazel introduces the earth colours, reds and yellows, and states try to think of ochre, umber and sienna not as brown, but as the yellow or the red. You can achieve an instant 2-colour black by using sepia and indigo. This image, called OK Corral, is really striking, isn't it? In this demonstration, called Men in Suits, Hazel has used ultramarine blue and burnt sienna. And she gives us some excellent advice about how to start thinking in 3 colours, and asks us to compare the 2 colour illustrations on the left hand page. The first one uses cobalt blue, cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and the one at the bottom of the page uses phthalo blue, ruby red and transparent yellow. And here Hazel explains how to mix the primaries to make black. And Hazel provides a handy tip to help you, stating if you think of a colour and its opposite, then you can predict the leaning of a potential mix in your head before mixing on the palette. Hazel recommends, instead of thinking red, yellow, blue, that you think blue, yellow, red when deciding on the colours for a particular painting. She usually starts by choosing the blue, followed by the yellow and then the red, and in general she has found that it's rare to paint a full colour picture without the need for blue or a version of blue such as violet, and goes on to explain in general why she then chooses the yellow before the red. Here are 2 lovely paintings by Hazel. that on the surface appear to be very similar, but they use different colour combinations, and Hazel has provided explanations of why she chose the colours that she did. Hazel explains how colours interact with one another and how the adjacent colour will affect the way a certain colour appears, and provides a detailed explanation of the issues caused with using too many pigments. She encourages you to be experimental in your considerations and open to alternatives, and suggests that you compare the two paintings below. Hazel recommends you are guided by a dominant colour, stating a subject may have a predominant hue, and even dictates the colour choices. In this painting, called Disappearing with the Dusk, the dominant colour is clearly red, but Hazel explains why she has replaced blue with violet. Sometimes Hazel will select a colour for its property rather than its hue. One such property is granulation, so if a subject has a pronounced texture, a textural effect can be represented on the paper by using a granulating pigment. Here we have a demonstration called Boys on the Beach, which has been guided by a specific hue, the brightly coloured shirt of one of the boys. Hazel has kindly provided us with a list of all the colours used in this book, showing the temperature bias and properties of each. This brings us to the second part of Hazel Soan's book, the limited palette in practice. So I've discussed and shared the first part of this book with you, which is all about the theory, and as this second half is all about choosing colour combinations and putting it into practice, I'm going to set this to music, so you can enjoy the book without listening to me waffling on. But before I do, I'm just going to read the introduction that Hazel Soan has provided, because it gives you excellent guidance on how to make the most of the second half of this book from the demonstrations and examples. Hazel states, this section is about putting the limited palette into practice in specific situations. Different subjects and themes are represented, and the reasoning for the colours chosen is given for each painting. Most colour combinations are guided by a principal hue or a specific pigment property. The thinking behind the choice of colours is described in detail, and you can dip into paintings that attract your interest in any order. By the end, you will have mastered a rich understanding of how to combine colours in workable sets and be able to select your own combinations using the colours that excite and inspire you most and with which you feel most comfortable. So let's enjoy Hazel's wonderful paintings and demonstrations together, and I'll meet you at the end, at the conclusion, and I'll provide you with further details of where you can find out more information about Hazel Soan and her work. So we've now reached the conclusion, and Hazel states, through reading this book you will have mastered a rich understanding of colour combinations and why and how each colour is chosen so that you can select your own successful limited palette. There are 190 pages and it's a hardback book with stitched pages, so the pages lie flat, which is a real bonus as far as I'm concerned. And whilst there may be an absence in this book of step-by-step demonstrations with multiple steps, I call them paint by numbers demonstrations, Hazel does a thorough job of explaining her process and the decisions she's made when choosing the palette for the subject. After all, we want to become artists, don't we? Better artists, not copyists. If you really want to learn how to mix colours and how to choose the appropriate colours for the subject you're painting, I cannot recommend this book highly enough. In the description below, I've put a link to Hazel Soan's website and also her Facebook and Instagram accounts. Hazel doesn't appear to have a dedicated YouTube channel of her own, but I have linked to 2 interviews with Hazel. One is about watercolour palette management, and the other is an interview with her about this actual book, Art of the Limited Palette, where she explains why she's written this book. I do recommend, it's well worth a watch. You'll learn a lot more about the book than you will probably from me waffling on about it during this video. There's also a link to painting holidays with Hazel, so you'll be able to actually meet Hazel in person. How amazing would that be, to actually spend some time with her and learn from her directly. I've also added links below to where you can purchase your own copy of this incredible book, and I highly recommend you treat yourself. I think there's so much to learn from it, and I know you wouldn't regret buying a copy. The links below are to Amazon, and if you click the links it costs you nothing, but I will earn a tiny commission which helps to support my channel and helps me to produce more YouTube videos for you. And do let me know, please, if you buy this book. I'd love to know what you think of it. I hope you found my review helpful. If you did, please give this video a like. It helps YouTube promote my channel to other people who are interested in art books. I try and post a new art book review every single week, so if you'd like to see more reviews from me, please subscribe to my channel. I'd really appreciate it. And if you found this review helpful, please leave me a comment below. I do reply to all comments. And if there's an art book that you'd like to see, let me know and I will do my best to review it for you. So thank you for watching, and until next time, happy painting.